today I want to share with you the 6C framework that has helped me generated over $20,000 in revenue in just over a weekend. And this technique has been used over and over again, but I just couldn't put it into words, nor could I duplicate it. But only until recently I kind of figured out, hey, I think that's a very nice way to kind of like stack this. And so I wanted to share this with you guys. Okay, so we'll start off with the 6C. Okay. Okay, so we will draw this. Okay, and one more here. So basically, the 6C framework is used to kind of determine where you are currently in your life stage as a business owner, okay? And these are some of the key components or elements that kind of make or break your business. And we just really want to know where you sit on this scale, okay? So the first things first is what we call your character. Okay, and when we talk about character, right, a lot of times, or what is character really, another word for it is kind of personality. So today, if I use, let's say, the SkillsFuture framework, and there's about 100 to 200 people conservatively graduating from school every single month. And if I were to take a stone and kind of throw into like the room, right, how many people actually do you remember that kind of stand out from the crowd? For me, I just completed my DLP, which is basically like the certification to do courseware, and there were like 6 different modules. And so in each of these different classes, there was about 12 to 15 people, and if I were to just like pick somebody, it's very hard to pick that one person because not many people have a character or personality, whether it's in person or online. Okay, so when it comes to character or personality, right, do you have something that makes you kind of stand out? For me, it could be like my hair, right, or the way I sound, or the way I present. These are different things, or even the way you dress. These are different elements that one can consider to build up your character or persona. Okay, so with character, one more thing that I want to add is this thing known as the gap. Okay, so what does gap mean? Okay, and I just bring attention to this flip chart here. So when we talk about the gap, right, this is kind of you in the center, okay, and this is your world. Okay, this is your world. And when we talk about community building and stuff like that, right, who is it that you are trying to attract? Right? So one of the things that one of the teachers who taught me, Melvin So, said that when you're trying to build a community or you're trying to build a movement, what kind of gap are you trying to close? And we'll cover a bit that later. Community is one of the C's as well. What's the gap that you're trying to close? Okay, take COVID for example. How many people were actually very lonely? Okay, and how many people seek the social connection? For me, doing business and traveling around the nomad, what is the community? What's the gap that I felt? Entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey, right? And so when I was, in Thailand and I went to different parts of Asia, and then I started to discover, hey, they were actually board games. Thailand was specializing, or there was this trend on board games. So I actually played it. I'm like, hey, I actually like it, and I brought it back into Singapore. So there was 2 board games, right? One of which was called Actual Life, and the other board game was called, what was it called? It was called Unboxing Your Present. Yeah, Unboxing Your Present, okay? And so when Unboxing Your Present came about, right, I launched a community, and the community, or the purpose of the game, right, was to help you discover more about what are some of your blind spots, what are some of your gaps, what are your inner child, your blockages, etc., etc. It's like a therapy in a game, in a box, okay? So when we actually launched this out, soft launching out, I was really surprised because there were like over 140 people that actually came to our game sessions throughout different sessions. And I thought, oh my god, Singaporeans, the young Singaporeans are very into these games, and that was very surprising to me. But little did I know in hindsight that actually there was a gap I was trying to close. You see, because therapy, to me, I'm very fortunate to have therapy sessions, and I know how powerful therapy can be. But is it actually truly accessible? And are the, how would I say, is the retention or is the transformation really effective in a one-on-one 1-hour session, or does it take multiple sessions? But what if in a board game, not only are you able to express a safe space to express yourself, but at the same time, you are able to hear from other people similar experiences. And then you start to realize, wait a minute, my problem isn't a problem. My problem is what other people are going through as well. And suddenly by hearing their problems, my problem seems a bit smaller. You get what I'm trying to say? So what gap are you trying to solve? So this is actually the third point here, which is called community. Okay, when you can find a gap, okay, you can build a community. Now, the bridge between the character, once you find a certain character, personality, and a community, then of course to bridge the gap, okay, one of which is called, let me use another color. It's called content. Okay, are you actually putting out content today in the market? Okay, so let me use another flip chart to elaborate on that. So when it comes to content marketing, right, what we need to understand is how content was used to be done way back in the day, and how is it been done or should be done today. Okay, Google launched a report, and I want to share what they actually shared. And so most people might be familiar with the traditional funnel, right? So it starts with like a free offer, okay, and then there's a funnel, right? And when they go down the funnel, okay, they're buying things like this is a free offer, this is a lead magnet, okay? And then they're like, okay, so you can join us for like $97 or, or anywhere to like $197. And then after that, maybe they upsell you to another like $1,000 or like $997, all the way up to like 3,000 plus. And then moving on, there is like a 10K to like 30K to like 50K kind of mastermind. Okay? So this was the traditional or somewhat still very like common business model. But there's one word that has always been coming up. And that word for me has been the word jaded. Okay, so what is jaded? Jaded means I'm sick and tired of, okay? And I'm really tired how this is done for a few reasons. One, okay, I understand that, there are, like, because this, right, what are you actually selling? I mean, let's go back to that, right? When it comes to the psychology of selling, what are we actually selling? We're actually selling content. Notice this, content here, okay? If we can close the gap of getting someone to somewhere, okay, then the big question is, what is the gap? What is the resistance here, okay? And in order for them to get to there, okay, what is the big vision, okay? I'm going to sidetrack a bit about this, but I'm just zooming here. So what is the big vision? And a lot of times when we want to do like vision, goal setting, planning, etc., there is one thing that kind of lacks from most goal setting, and it is the clarity of 3 different elements, okay? And this is one of the things that my teacher, Dato Adrian, we talk about, is first thing is how much, okay? How much do you actually want to make? In other words, the strategy between I want to make $1 million versus I want to make as much money as I can, or let's do profit splitting. Okay, the strategy really is very different because it sets your intention on the right path, or it's on a different path, right? So how much do you want to make? Okay, by when? Okay, and who do you want to become? Okay, who do you want to become? Okay, so when he actually mentioned this, I'm like, okay, so how much money actually do I want to make? Can I actually replace my current income of, let's say, $5,000, so that's $60,000 a year? Or let's just say if I were to look at a competitor or my ex-company, and they're doing like 14 packs and each paid like about $5,000, $500, then that's like $7,000. So in a class, sorry, if I say it right, wrong. So there was 14 packs and then each paid $500. So that's like $7,000 in a weekend, okay? So in a month, estimate that's like 7 times 4, that's like $28,000, and that's for one class, for one trainer. So what if I have to play a bigger game to become a school level, and I can do it multiple times, like I can have 6 classes at one point of time if I have 6 trainers, I have 6 curriculums, and my marketing and sales is damn solid good. Right? And then I can play like a $2 million game. Suddenly, from a $60,000 to $2 million, okay, that is like mind-blowing. So who is it and how long, when do I want to do it? With the current regulations, with the current certification, it takes me about another 1 or 2 years to go. So if I am clear on that, right, now I am able, so this is your strategy, right? Kind of your vision, sorry, this is your vision. Okay, if I am clear on that, then what happens is I can, what we call reverse engineer. Okay, I can reverse engineer towards getting where I want to go. So for me personally, who I want to become, I want to be a pilot again. I want to run a flight school. There's some collaborations happening. I don't have much details, but at least I know, hey, this person is actually running a flight school. That's who I want to be. How long is it going to take? About another 5 more years. Okay, towards a goal. How much do I want to make? I want to make enough. What is enough to pay for my flight school, which is about $30,000, and yet still have passive income or income to support my lifestyle habit. Okay, so do I know my numbers? Yes, I do. The question is, do you? Right. So this is one of the things we want to get clear in our class. But coming back to this, right? When it comes to funnel, when it comes to content, okay, let me go to the next channel. When it comes to content, in the new era, and this was taught to me by Marvin So, and he put it very nicely, is that in today's day and age, we turn the funnel the other way around, right? Are we doing enough right now in the market to what he calls prime the market, so that they know who you are, what are you trying to do, so that when you put an offer out there into the market, people are just ready to just buy, okay? Of course, provided it's at the right place, at the right time, etc., etc. I have clients who are ready to buy, but they'll be like, I can't make it weekdays, I can't make it on this, do you have another time slot? If you have this kind of inquiry, you are at the first step of doing something really huge, okay? And that's what I'm really excited about. So when it comes to priming, what are some of the different elements you need to do, right? Are you, let's say, present on Instagram? Okay, are you present on LinkedIn? Okay, social media, okay? For me, Facebook, right? Or maybe YouTube. Okay, doing videos like what I'm doing right now as you're watching, right? These are content, right? And I must be very clear at the very beginning, who am I trying to solve? Who am I trying to serve? I'll tell this story. My mom, okay, who has been taking care of me for the last 20 over years, coming to 30 years, she has not been employed. Okay, she has not been employed, and she has not been back to school for the last 30 years. Okay, and with the work I'm currently doing in the education or edutainment business, for me, I really want to help her to become independent. I want her to be able to afford the things that she really, really want. Asian mom's joke that, hey, are you going to give me allowance? I'm like, I don't even have enough to cover myself, but I can do something for you instead, like an exchange, right? So I was like, hey, what if you can do, like, get the ACLP certification for yourself, I can give you the jobs, okay, to get you started on your so-called your mid-career or your new career in the educational business or the entertainment business, okay? And so she's currently in the process of it, but eventually, I realized that the reason why I'm doing all these things was actually, I didn't really realize that it was actually for her. You see, because I reached out to a makeup school here in Singapore, and I approached with the angle of, with the brand of, hey, I'm a cosplay developer, I would like to write a program for you. But I would like to write a program for you because my mom's in this trade, and I really want her to get some kind of like gigs and jobs and stuff like that. Because, having the funding from the government really, really helps in terms of selling a program, but also getting people to sign up is a bit much easier. But that's not the point. The point is that my mom has not been working, she has not been studying, and I really wanted to give her a decent career that not only she can support herself, but she can start to dream and travel and retire, right? So I thought, hey, if I can prep everything up for her, once she gets the certification, okay, and she can fill up a gap, okay, what are some of the next steps to kind of like do? So I'm really excited for her, and the possibility, right? Let me just go back. The possibility of who she could become, okay, financially independent, okay, by when, maybe another 2 to 3 more years, and how much she wants to make, enough to pay for her current lifestyle to travel. So I'm really excited for her. So coming back in terms of content, are we doing enough to put ourselves out there in the market? And today, one of the reports that Google kind of talks about is this, is that the market now, okay, this is like the market, the environment, okay, when you put out an ad or like a message out there in the market, and someone actually sees that, okay, the thought process, the mind process is this, okay, they will go through like, okay, let me research about you, let me evaluate you, and then purchase. Okay? So this is when they start to do a lot of analytical calculations, and they do a lot of research about you, okay? This is also considered you. And once they have done this, then they will be like buying, right? So this links up here, okay? And in this whole cycle, there's what we call touch points, okay? Touch points. And it basically is, are we exposing them at least for 7 hours, okay? 11 times for like 4 different platforms, okay? 7, 11, 4. I think it's a bit much easier to say. Okay, so do we have 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, and on 4 different platforms, so that they know who we are, they constantly are hearing what we have to say, and one day perhaps they'll be like, hey, do you have something to offer me? Okay, so this is something that we really dive really deep into our programs. Our programs are designed in a way that as a relay race, right, you can't just master one and expect to hit it big, okay? You have to go through one by one, master it all towards completing a race, like a relay race, right? You can be the Usain Bolt, you can master something, but if you don't have the different series of steps, which is what we're covering here, the 6 Cs, then it's really, really hard for you to succeed. And I'm not saying this from a hypothesis, it's really true, because I myself went through this process. I'm still learning something new every day. I'm still struggling as a business owner, as a new business owner, despite doing this for the last decade. It's something that has always constantly evolved, and it really requires you to be, to stay in the trend, to stay in the know. Okay, so these are some of the programs that we actually design, okay, in part or in whole. But let me wrap up the 6 Cs, okay? So after community, what happens? So we want to engage with people. We want to create real, authentic relationship with people. So that is what we call having real, authentic conversations. And how do we engage conversation? For me, personally, I'll do this through a potluck, right? Or a tea session or a gathering session, preview, right? And this would really build up your confidence. And this comes from one of a strategy known as the tiny challenges, that instead of sending people to a normal webinar with 300 people, I want to build real, authentic connections with everyone that joins my community, right? To really figure out what is it that they are struggling with, what is it they need help with, what's most important after doing business for so long, right? Not that I like this term, but it's necessary. It's called data, right? I need the data to really understand what is really lacking here in the gap, right, in the market, and do I have the capacity and resources to actually do it, okay? Conversation. And that leads to the final 2 things. Once you have a conversation, can you actually convert them into your clients, okay? So this is the 6C framework that we cover in our various programs. We have 2 upcoming programs. One is known as empathetic selling. The other one is called Dare to Sell, right? If you have the 6C framework, then you would have the confidence to really sell without worrying whether people or not would say yes or no. Because in Dare to Sell, we talk a lot about, the product and as well as the marketing. Okay, what does it take for you to actually step up and lead? Okay, when it comes to product, are you actually confident? Can you actually justify the pricing, the product to get you to put yourself out there, right? It really interlinks with one another. If you don't do one, you really can't do the other. So basically this 6C is what I call the trainerpreneurship journey. Okay, is that if you can master every single part of this in its own element, then this is you on the career path as a trainerpreneur. And I'm really excited to share this with you. And I hope to break this down one by one into the different strategies and techniques that you can immediately apply straight away.